Hello and welcome to another video on my channel, the JJ Think Tank. Today I want to talk about Big Pharma and corrupted science, which we can also call the cult of Scientism. So Scientism is the ideological view, we could say, that professes the belief that only science is able to reach the truth. Only science can show us the way. Yes. Trust the science, yes, as they said many times in the past. And during the period of the fake pandemic and the rollout of the vaccines, yes, in 2020, 21, 22. So, in a way we can say that science is the new religion. It has replaced religion as the guiding force in life, yes, and in general. So when we are searching for the truth, when we are trying to figure out what is going on, we refer only to science, yes. Why did I include the word corrupted in my title? Yes. Because most people have the view that science is free from morality, yes. That science is this kind of amoral domain where you're just doing experiments, you're trying to discover something, yes. But in actual fact, this is not the only activity that goes on in the scientific realm, yes. Science is also corrupted by money and interests, and big interests at that. That's a big pharma. Pharmaceutical industry is massive. So in the scientific establishment, we have a hierarchy that operates just like any other corporation or government entity. So the scientific establishment, it's divided. Yes, knowledge is ridiculously divided, as J. Dyer says. And of course there's nothing wrong with this specialization, but because of this specialization, science is actually not making any progress. Yes. There aren't people who are, well, there are, but not many, who gather information from various domains in order to make a breakthrough in science. Right now, I don't think this is occurring. Yes. And as J. Dyer notes here, the reason why perhaps science now is not making these new strides is because it is predicated on the presupposition of scientism, which I mentioned earlier. And this scientism tells us that reality is not meaningful, it's not coherent, it's just random, yes? It's just random stuff going on, chaotic movement, with no real logos or meaning behind it, yes? So it just is, yes? And if you don't accept the science, you must be a fool, yeah? This is how we are judged nowadays. So why is this dangerous? It's dangerous because this attitude, it eventually leads to nihilism, yes? And this belief in science can also have negative consequences because people can trust these supposed experts. They are the new priests, yes? And when they do trust these priests, these new priests, many times they can actually be damaged and lied to. So we clearly see this with the rollout of the vaccines recently with regards to COVID-19. These vaccines, in actual fact, are very dangerous. Yes? But not only these vaccines, we have the earlier vaccines, yes, the childhood vaccines, which also cause autism. Of course, this is covered up. And various drugs that do not treat the root cause of any disease, but just the symptoms. So, at least in the UK, I don't know how it is in other countries, but people are propagandized from a young age to trust the science. Yes. Trust the science, yes. Science will lead you to the truth, and you should not study philosophy, you should not study religion. These are old relics of the past. Don't need them anymore. No. So, as you may have assumed, scientism, yes, scientism, not science, is the view that all knowledge comes from sensory experience, otherwise known as empiricism. But we can use a bit of logic here, of witty logic, to straight away deny this claim and show that it's actually illogical. So, by professing the simple statement, all knowledge comes from sensory experience, we can ask the question, can this sentence be found as a piece of sensory data in the world? No, it cannot, right? So can we find this in the world, this as a bit of sensory data? All knowledge comes from sensory experience. No. And the scientists refute. No, this is an unnecessary epistemological question. Yes, with regards to how we know what's true. Yes, or where knowledge comes from. They say no. No. Just all that is important is what we see in the world through our eyes, through what we hear, of course, yes. Only this counts as knowledge. Well, of course, this is not true. We can't see mathematics, right? We can't see the structure of language. How does language work? we're able to communicate with each other. Yes, do we see this language? Can the rules of language be found from sensory experience? I don't think so. It comes from another place. Yes. So this scientism then refutes metaphysics, of course. It denies metaphysics. If it says it's an unnecessary discipline. And in general, it says that philosophy is unnecessary. It's not needed anymore. And people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, they share this view constantly. Yes. But what's funny to notice is that just like religion supposedly has its extravagant claims, yes, science also has its miracles and myths. So these new theories such as the Big Bang, evolution, that we have evolved from monkeys, yes, they're all myths. And miracles, we can say, yes, that we can't confirm that these theories can be found in sensory experience, yes? It involves a leap of faith. The Big Bang, evolution, yes? So thereafter in my article I talk about the pharmaceutical industry, yes, because I have a bit more knowledge about it, because I studied chemistry and then pharmacy at university. And this crisis of science and scientism can be found here, where the symptoms are always treated but not the underlying cause. And why is this so? It's like this because the pharmaceutical industry, it neither wants the individual to be fully healthy or dead. They want you to be in between in order to maximize profits. So I can't comment on other strands of science and other, because science is a very broad domain. We have many departments, yes. But I can definitely make this claim here that with regards to pharmacy and pharmaceutical science, there is definitely a crisis. Yes. And what's also important to note is that much of the scientific literature that you can find now online is actually unreliable and possibly even false. So I found this out through Dr. Horton, and he published a statement declaring that a lot of this published research is in fact unreliable and even false, yes? So he made this comment: the case against science is straightforward. Much of the scientific literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue. Afflicted by studies with small sample sizes, tiny effects, invalid exploratory analyses, and flagrant conflicts of interest, together with an obsession for pursuing fashionable trends of dubious importance, science has taken a turn towards darkness. So again, we can see that science isn't immune from the realm of morality. Yes, scientists can become corrupted and serve bad interests. They do not serve the good. Yes. So then I wrote, with this in mind, how many times have you heard the phrases "trust the science" or "science says"? So besides this being an appeal to authority, this is a logical fallacy, yes? Just because you appeal to someone who has authority doesn't mean that what you are saying is true, that the statement you're making is true, yes? So overall, I think the main idea that I want to share with you is the fact that science is not the be all and end all, yes? It's not the only source of truth. And really, when you start to study philosophy, you notice this. And the person who helped me the most in this regard is J. Dyer. And it's the way he presented philosophy as being kind of a bulwark, yes, a bulwark against ideology, really, against illogical ideas, yes, and statements. And he also shared the argument of presuppositionalism. So this is basically the idea that talking about science in this case, these scientists, these new class of intellectuals, they have their own presuppositions that can be questioned, yes? And if you question them, you start to notice some inconsistencies in their worldview, yes? And of course, Jay also introduced me to how scientists all deny metaphysics, yes? They have to, because this backs up their claim that only science can reach the truth. You cannot reach the truth through other means, yes? Only through science, yes? Only through sensory experience and empiricism, yes? So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it informative. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It will help me to grow the channel. And see you on the next one.